Thank you for turning to 10, your news leader. 10 News Conference with Gene Valicenti continues right now.
Welcome back. My guest today, Speaker of the House, Joe Shekarchi, the Democrat who may be running for governor. Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Welcome back.
Good morning. It's always a pleasure to be here. I always enjoy your show, #1 show in Rhode Island.
You know, everybody's asked you, are you running? Are you in? Are you out? We have a little fun with you.
We
have a little fun with you on the radio.
I'm sure you do. I listen to you regularly, and
Right.
I listen to you and your producer. It's always a good time.
Are you ready to make news? You want to give me the scoop here?
No.
And why not? Why not? It's late. Why not?
It's not late, #1. #2, I have a very important job to do, and that's my primary focus. Being Speaker of the House is a big job, and I have to pay attention to that. And it's not late. Truthfully, people of Rhode Island, I know the media likes to, concerned about myself and other people of Rhode Island are worried about paying their bills, about cost of living, about health insurance, about what's happening, and that's my focus right now. But I make my decision, as I've said many times, in the first quarter of this year, and we're in the first quarter, so.
Are you going to drag it out really to the end of the January, February, March?
It's a very personal decision.
What do you mean by that?
It's a thought. It's a process, and I want to make sure I make the right process. There's a lot of factors that go into that, and I want to make it's a life-changing decision.
But you've thought about this for quite some time.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you were in with me months and months ago.
Yeah, but that's.
You risk becoming like Mario Cuomo. They called him Hamlet on the Hudson. Are you running? Are you not running? On the last day, they had the plane in the airport.
Yeah.
Turns out he wasn't running. They're going to call you Hamlet on what, the Pawtucket?
That is okay. I've been called a lot worse than Hamlet, and that's okay. It comes with the job.
How about this? I said, how are we going to do this creatively? You see this?
Okay.
That's a door.
All right.
That's a door. I asked Peter Nerona, when he was thinking, is the door open or closed? He said, well, leave it open a little bit.
Okay.
Now, how about you? Is the door to running for governor open or closed? Go ahead.
I think the door is open.
Let me see this. Hold on. You have that open about halfway. Are you satisfied with that?
It's a very creative way to ask a question that a lot of people have asked.
Yeah.
Look, it's a decision that I'm thinking about and I'm making, and I'm talking to people I trust and believe, and I'm talking to, looking at independent information, making the right decision for me and myself, my family, and hopefully the right decision for the state of Rhode Island.
Well, you've been weighing it. What's the nagging? What's nagging you? What is the one thing? I've got to be honest. You and I have mutual people in politics and the media, and one person.
We do?
He's absolutely yes. Yeah. He's absolutely in. Oh, take it to the bank. Go have lunch with this one. No, he's not. No, he's not in. What is it?
Well, who are the friends? Who are the people that
check your mutual contact list. The door is half open.
So, look, Gene, I know a lot of people like to speculate, but really it's not been my focus. The governor's going to deliver the state of the state, deliver the budget. It's a very important document. It's a very important, the biggest thing we do is the House of Representatives. Yeah. That's my focus. I can function at a high level and be a good speaker. I like to think I have been a good speaker. We'll let the voters decide. And then at the same time, I'm able to make a decision about my personal future. There's a long way to go.
Let's have a little lightning round here. Let's dispel the myths. You said early on, I'm not running if Governor McKee is running. Did you ever say that specifically?
No. So first of all, it's on video. I think it's on the podcast for the Boston Globe. Okay. And I said at the time I could not envision myself running against Dan McKee at the time.
Do you still feel that way?
I think that there's a lot of factors that go into that. I think things change, and I think that I enjoy a good working relationship with the governor. Yeah. But the decision really is my decision. It's a personal decision, and it's what I think. Can I be an effective governor? Can I be an effective candidate? Can I do a good job? And can I do a good job and be the Speaker of the House? There's a lot of factors that go into that.
So I'm going to take that off the table. No more if McKee is in, I'm out. That's not an issue anymore.
Some people will say that. Some people will not. I mean, look, I
what
can't.
What are you saying?
The decision to run or not run is my personal decision.
Okay. Now let's go to Helena Foulkes, because you'd have to take both of them on.
Sure.
At some point. You're willing to go after her? Now, this is unusual. You were Raimondo's campaign manager when Gina Raimondo ran. You're very close with her. But here is Helena Foulkes. She's close with her, too. And now look at this. They're going to be two peas in a pod on the board of Costco. What am I to make of that? Is Gina with Helena?
I don't speak for Gina Raimondo.
You must have wondered this, too.
No, I have a very good relationship with her and her family, and I consider them very close. And I haven't asked her who would she support politically, and I don't know. You'd have to ask her. That's her decision to make. But either way, she'd still be my friend.
But it is. But if Gina's going on the board of Costco, Helena's already on the board of Costco. I mean, just an observer says, well, what is this? They must be together. That means you're out.
No, I would not make that assumption. I don't know. Costco board is. I'm sure there's many people on it. I'm sure they're both talented and recruited for their talents. I don't think somebody joined the Costco board for a political alliance.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very important corporation. It's a big company. I wish we had one in Rhode Island. But the point I'm making is I don't think that appointment to the board, at least in my opinion, Joe Shekarchi's opinion, has anything to do with politics.
All right, asked and answered. You left the door open. That means you are willing to take on both of them if need be.
Well, it's obvious that both are already announced, and that's part of that. I don't expect, if I were to enter this race, I don't expect either one of them to drop out.
But let me set up my question. You left the door open. That means you're willing to take on both of them if need be. That means Helena Folks. Play Helena. Now she says she inherited the opioid crisis. Inherited it. That's new language. She used to say, when I found out about it, I took action. Now it's, I inherited when I became the president of CVS stores. Play her. Let's see if you're going to be tough on her, if it comes to that.
When I became president of CVS in 2014, the opioid crisis was raging already. Sometimes you inherit a crisis, by the way, just like the governor likes to talk about the bridge. I inherited a crisis, which is the opioid epidemic.
Not much to go after her. Would you go after her on that? Take it to her?
If I ran a campaign, I believe all issues are, if you stay issue-based, are all on the table.
Including that, because CVS is the home team. It's a little prickly. You want to go after her, but not CVS.
Well, I have a good relationship. I met with the president of CVS yesterday via Zoom. I think he's doing a good job. It's a great corporation, and they do a lot of good things in Rhode Island. They employ a lot of people, and I don't think we should throw the baby out with the bathwater.
But her stewardship of that company during the opioid crisis, when thousands of people lost their lives, it's unfortunate. You would take that to her? You'd take that issue right to her?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say all issues are on the table.
Okay, including the bridge, because that you'd go after Governor McKee on that, I assume.
Again, you want to assume I'm going after everybody.
Well, what else am I assuming? The bridge is the issue.
I'm not a candidate, not one yet anyway. And what I would say is, my campaign would be about me, my vision, and what I think I bring to the table for the people of Rhode Island.
Okay.
If I decided to make that leap, it's not about either one of the other candidates. It's about what Joe Shekarchi could do for the people of Rhode Island. What I've done as Speaker, I would run on my record. I'm proud of my record. Balanced budgets, bipartisan budgets, gun safety legislation, good pro-business legislation, taking care of people, increasing Medicaid funding. I'm proud of the things that I've done, and I'll stand on that record. Increasing education funding. I can go on and on if you would like me to.
We've got another segment. I'll let you speak to your resume, but let me just, why don't you speak to this? Go ahead and play the governor. Because Helena's willing to take the bridge to him, and I assume you're going to do it too. I know it's nice to talk, I'm going to run on my record, but you're going to, if, that's a big if, you're going to take the bridge to him. Go ahead and play it.
Well, everybody's going to have their opinion about the director. We're certainly going to look into ways that we might be able to improve the system. But at the end of the day, it's the fact that it was very clear that people who were inspecting the bridge, who said it was repairable, ended up not giving us the right information.
He's keeping Peter Alviti. Would you keep Peter Alviti? Do you endorse the way he's handled that?
I would ask for Director Alviti's resignation if I were the governor, if I got elected governor.
Just a matter of clean house, or you want to punish him? Why would you do that?
No, I think that every governor's entitled to his own cabinet.
How about this governor handling the bridge?
I think that we've had numerous oversights, and I think that it's an issue that's paramount. It's a big issue, and I think the voters will make the decision on that. The governor doesn't work for me. I don't control the governor or his appointments. They're in the executive branch and legislative branch.
Well, I understand, but in the context of you possibly leaving the door open to run for governor, that's going to be the issue if you're going to take it to McKee. You authorized a joint oversight hearing with Peter Alviti. That was just a month ago, where Peter got it going over by former U.S. Attorney Cunha, $600 an hour he charged, and he gave him a grilling. Why did you do that? Because it undermined the DOT while McKee is trying to win a lawsuit. Go ahead. Why did you allow that?
First of all, my members wanted it. I think the public wanted it. There was new information. There was a report released publicly for the first time. And there were a lot of questions. It was a very technical report. I thought Attorney Cunha did a very good job of breaking that down. It was new information. So that's why the public wanted it, my membership wanted it. People, particularly who live on the East Bay, East Providence, the representatives, and Barrington. I can go all the way down the East Bay. They live that bridge every day. I live that bridge.
Right.
I have medical appointments in East Providence. I have to, my life gets adjusted whether I have an appointment. Sometimes I go right over, sometimes I have to wait an hour to go over. So it's different. People are very frustrated about it. They want answers. They want to know what happened. Why, who knew what and when, and that report was new information. And when it came out in the public domain, the first thing I did, I called the Attorney General. I said, if we had a hearing on oversight, would this hurt in any way, shape, or form the state's lawsuit? And he said, it will absolutely not, Speaker. And I asked the Attorney General, would you say that publicly? And he said he would, and he did. So we didn't hurt. The fact that the House and Senate had a joint oversight didn't hurt the state's chances.
You got to be kidding. You're a lawyer. You handed it to these defense attorneys who are going to defend the case in the state. You handed it to them.
No, sir. Respectfully, you're wrong. Let me tell you why.
Tell me I'm wrong.
That report was already public and public domain, and that hearing was focused on what was in that report already. And those very good, smart defense lawyers that you have, well, in this case, really, you mean plaintiffs' lawyers or defense lawyers, depending on your point of view, very competent of doing their own analysis on that report. So, and I watched that hearing, and I don't think there was anything that came out in that hearing that would hurt the state's case.
You didn't soften up the witness for a defense attorney to take it from there? You didn't soften up Peter
Not
Alviti
at all.
with that?
Peter Alviti is more than capable of handling himself. Number one, and he stood there, he answered those questions. Public got what they wanted. I feel very comfortable. It was a very fair and hearing, and I also feel it was very hearing that was very done properly in the terms of the lawsuit and in terms of the public's right to know.
All right, Mr. Speaker, stay with us. One more segment. We'll talk about your accomplishments. I know you have a list for us.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back. Let's get to the Speaker of the House, and let's get to the business of the House. Mr. Speaker, the governor just said that he's going to float, am I understanding this right, a millionaire's tax? Do we want to chase anybody that has a little money out of Rhode Island? How does that sit with you?
So this is not new. I've been Speaker for 6 years. This proposal's been on the table for 6 years. You know, I like to say everything's on the table. I don't prejudge it. We'll have hearings on it, and we'll listen to the testimony around that. I think there's a little bit more emphasis around this issue this year, a little bit more support because of the current administration in Washington has been very good to the top 1%, and they have gotten significant tax relief from the federal government. So I think people at the state level, you know, and because they've gotten that, we've gotten less money for the state. So people at the state are looking at us again.
I know two people, they just bought condos in Bonita, 6 months and a day. I bet you know people who do that. Anybody with money, you don't die here, you don't want to live here, you're out. Going to chase the millionaires out?
Look, we go through a process. I welcome your testimony, everyone's testimony. Here's my little peeve about this. I've heard this same story from many accountants, and I've asked all of these accountants to come up to the State House and testify on this legislation, and nobody does. So when we have hearings on this issue, it's very few people who come up to try to defend this from a business standpoint or from a high net worth individual. So what I would encourage them, either through your radio show, your TV show, is if you're concerned about this issue, we have open, transparent hearings, and we want that. I keep an open mind. I have never ruled it out, and I never rule it in.
With all due respect,
but I've never done it in 6 years.
Not billionaires. The millionaires, they're billionaires. They're in Palm Beach. You've been down to fundraisers. So has basically any Rhode Island politician. You run down to Florida, you know where the money is. So what? It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, the people in Palm Beach, I don't live in Palm Beach, but people in Palm Beach are very wealthy, yes.
Yeah, so you have to go where the money is. And a lot of them are Rhode Islanders who move there 6 months in a day.
Yeah, but also the converse of that is the evidence has shown, at least the one that has been presented, and if there's more evidence that presented, we're open to hear it, is that Massachusetts has enacted this, and it has not had that impact of a big migration to a low-tax state. So the question is, if those people have moved already before we've instituted a millionaire's tax, or are they moving because of it or the fear of it? We don't know the answer to that.
I understand. Well, those who are gone are gone. And not coming back. The question is, if this comes to pass, would this chase more people out? All right, we'll leave it. Let's move on to other issues. The schools are very important to you. Providence wants their schools back. Now, I understand the governor's overseeing with the Education Commissioner, but you're the Speaker of the House. You have to do with the dollars and cents. Is Providence ready to get it back? You can give me a short answer on that.
Doesn't matter what the politicians want. It's what's matter of what's best for the children. This is, again, not a new proposal. Mayor Smiley has it as part of his legislative package. He had it last year. I'm open to that idea. I've asked for, and I've yet to receive something from somebody that says to me, this would have better educational outcomes. It's better for the students. It's not about the administration. Right. It's not about the unions. It's not about the politicians. It's about the students. We want to make sure that we as a General Assembly do what's best for the students. I will point out that every single year that I've been Speaker, we've increased funding on the funding formula, and come in May, when we've had a little bit of extra money here and there in certain years, whatever money goes, a big part of that goes into extra education funding. We've been very generous to cities and towns regarding education, and we're going to continue to be when we have that money.
Rhode Island Foundation out with a new blueprint on how they think you should fund education. More of the burden on the state, put the money here, do this. Your appetite for that?
I'm going to listen to it. First of all, I met with David Cicilline yesterday, the president of the Rhode Island Foundation. Yeah. I appreciate and I applaud their efforts to study this issue. We're going to have robust public hearings on it. I welcome David and any of the stakeholder, but when you make these changes to the formula, a couple of things happen. There are some winners and there's some losers, and I want to make sure that we have everyone at the table. I want to hear from every point of view on this, but again, I go back to what I just told you. What this proposal by the Rhode Island Foundation is to increase funding for education. Since I have been Speaker, I have done that, and I will continue to do that when we have the ability to do it. So we're doing that. It's a question is how we distribute along the formula, and we've increased education. Now, let me tell you this. Some communities will say, well, wait a minute, Speaker, my education aid has gone down. And I will say, yes, it has. And we'll say, well, you just said you increased funding. We increase it on a per pupil basis. Your education money may have gone down because your school-age population has gone down. So that's what a formula is about. You put in a constant, which is the number of students, and that's how you get your formula. So yeah, have there been some communities that have seen a reduction, maybe slight, or maybe even a medium reduction, is because your school-age population. School funding should follow the student, not the community.
Okay, let's go to housing. We know you've been active in housing.
Very active.
We famously call them the Shekarchi cottages.
ADUs. I want a royalty on that.
Well, I think you deserve it.
How many times do you say that on your radio show?
Many times. You deserve it. But these are little cottage in the back that you could build on your property. It's called ADU.
Accessory dwelling unit. Number one priority for AARP locally and nationally.
Yep. You could put a relative in there. You could rent it out.
Yes.
Okay. You adds to the housing stock. Now, just today, the Providence Foundation is out with a new report put together by RIPEC that says a rent control is a bad concept. That if you limit the amount of money a landlord can make, they'll never build more housing. They'll never invest in more housing. Do you connect the dots that way? Rent control is bad. You limit a landlord's ability to make profit. He's never going to invest in new housing. Connect the dots. True?
I don't know. I will tell you this, that we had a bill on that last year, and we had a study commission that was chaired by Judge Smith from the Superior Court, an excellent judge, and he did an excellent job on that. They did not come up back with any findings. So I would say on that issue, whether rent control works or not, and from the perspective on the bill that we studied last year, the jury is still out. What I will tell you historically, that I know a lot about housing, I look around the country, it has not been that successful. There's only a few communities that actually have enacted it. Most have not enacted it. But I know Providence, the city of Providence, is moving forward on something. So we're going to watch that and see what ultimately happens. I know the mayor has been opposed that as well. So we'll listen to that. I think Governor Healy just came out against that from Massachusetts as well. But it's on the ballot in Massachusetts from what I understand, or will be on the ballot in Massachusetts.
You'll come on the radio with me. We'll talk more about the hospitals.
I would love to. I'll talk about the hospitals right now, but I'd love to come on the radio show anytime you want.
We'll talk about the hospitals. We'll talk about other issues that are important to you. But let me just make this sort of a general topic before we close. Your party, what do you think when you see Mayor Mamdani in New York City and talk of socialism? You know, the House, in cooperation with the Senate in Washington, passed a resolution condemning socialism in all of its forms. Specifically, that includes democratic socialism. I've got about 30 seconds. Do you condemn socialism in all of its forms?
I don't support it. I'd like to look at the resolution before that.
I'll show you on the way out.
Okay, I'm not a socialist, and I don't, I don't believe in that philosophy. But he was elected. But Democrats were elected. Moderate Democrats were elected in New Jersey, and moderate Democrats were elected for governor in Virginia. And moderate Democrats are getting elected across the country.
you have to work with them. You have Democratic Socialists in your ranks. You have to work with them, and you're known for that.
I work with everybody, Democrats, Republicans, progressives, moderates, conservatives, because that's my job as Speaker. And I don't get to pick who gets elected. The voters decide. And when they send someone up there, I treat everybody with respect, fairness, and an open mind.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
I gave you the last word.
I appreciate it.
House Speaker Joe Shekarchi, I'll have you on the radio. We'll continue. In the meantime, that's 10 News Conference, your #1 longest running political show in Southern New England. Watch all of our interviews on turnto10.com, and I'll see you next week on the news.